and show you my face. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Business Builder this Thursday. Thank you for taking the time to join us. I really hope you're going to enjoy this. I am very much looking forward to it. Our wonderful trainer today is Estelle Sinclair. She is the CEO of StarBlaze Business Solutions, and she has over 20 years of experience in very complex business process consulting. And she's worked in multiple industries in multiple regions. She has a background as an accountant, but she's also a certified enterprise architect, and she is Africa's own one and only certified scale architect. So Estelle specializes in enhancing your business's profitability and boosting your bottom line and your efficiency. And she loves working with people and enhancing people as well as the business. So welcome, Estelle. I'm so happy to have you here. We're so excited to learn from you. And I'm going to hand over to you to tell us more about you and about your topic today.
Thanks, Cameron. Hi, everybody. So good to have you online. I'm really looking forward to today. I've got a jam-packed schedule. We are going to talk about unlocking the secrets to your scalable growth. I'm going to take you in depth through the 7 stages of the predictable success life cycle. We are going to look at some symptoms and challenges that you've got for each stage, and you're going to walk away with some strategies of how you could make sure that your business rides that growth wave. I can ask if you can maybe just put on the chat.
Sorry, Estelle, you muted yourself there.
Oh, thanks. my next button mute. All right, if I can ask you to just quickly give me a quick intro in the chat. If you can put your LinkedIn profiles and what you're hoping to get out of today's session. You can even actually just unmute and say as well.
I'm going to say, because I don't even know where my LinkedIn profile is. So most people know me already, but I'm Tamron from the far side. We do accounting and business development, and I am very passionate about growth, and especially sustainable growth, because one of our cornerstones is preventing burnout in people. So I'm very excited to hear how we can create sustainable growth in our businesses without falling over.
Awesome. Thanks, Tam.
I'm Leila. I'm a virtual assistant, and I'm actually looking at growing my business next year. So this came on at just the right time, and I was like, well, this is definitely where I need to be this afternoon.
Oh, you're in the right place. You'll also be able to use some of this to help your clients when you assist them. Anyone else? Okay, let me get the share button going here. I'm going to jump right into it then. You can connect with me on LinkedIn afterwards. I've got a PDF that I can send you, a free PDF that is going to give a bit of a breakdown on some of the strategies that I am going to cover. And if I can ask you to please, if you are on LinkedIn, it'll be really great if you can tag on LinkedIn and do a bit of a publish or a summary that says, you know, I attended this, and this is what I got out of it. Also on my website, StarBlazeSolutions.com. Sam will have the link. There's going to be an online leadership style assessment. I'm going to take you through various leadership styles and how they work throughout the life cycle, and then you can test. You can get that for yourself. You can also test your team and nice things like that. Now, Sam has already introduced myself, so I don't really have to do too much of that. I obviously spent many years doing business process improvements, helping. The best part of my career ever was when I had to help SARS during the modernization time. You know, they had to do the tax tax optimization, and I was sent to Australia to help benchmark it for the country and to figure out how are we going to change this 25-page manual thing into an automated. That was the funnest part of my career. I've been a serial consultant for forever, 25 years, and I know I look really young, and I got 25 years because I started working when I was 4, you see. So, you know, so I'm so young. All right, the model I'm going to talk to you about is a word for, it works for different companies as well as for non-profits. It's very important. This material I'm presenting is licensed. I pay royalties to this every single year. So I would ask, please, you know, be careful. Please don't take copies, snapshots, all of that. So I don't get in trouble with the, you know, the 2Bs. Also, if you've got any questions, answers afterwards, you're more than welcome to DM me on LinkedIn. And I'm very happy to cover anything. This part that I'm doing today is the intro session for an acceleration program that I run. That's a weekly 1-hour coaching webinar that covers various things. And the next one is kicking off on the 5th of Feb. So if you're going to be interested in that after, you know, feel free to DM me again. Okay. On top of this model, I did not invent any of this. All right. It's based on the work from Les McKeon. And I am linked to him personally as a certified scale architect. The content of a lot of this is also in the book, The Predictable Success and the Synergist, but I'm going to go into a lot more depth than what is in the actual book. It's not just an academic study. It's observations from all over. And I personally took 2 years to work through the content to make sure it's real in the different clients that I use. All right, I'm going to jump straight into the 7 stages. You will be able to identify your current growth stage as well as your target growth stage, where you want to be in. All right. There are 7 growth stages. And every time when you see that little squiggly thing, that's the difficult growth stage. And when it's straight, that's the easy growth stage. So from this, you can see that there are 7 growth stages for a business. 4 of them are difficult, 3 are easy. But that number 6, we're going to watch out for, because as much as it feels difficult, in fact, you're busy declining in the business. So, you know, but there's this disillusionment and it feels good, but it's not, you know, you should not want to be there. There's only 2 stages a business would want to be in. That's stage number 2 and number 4. And I'm going to take you through what that is right now. The 7 stages is the early struggle. Then we have fun. Then whitewater, predictable success at the top, treadmill, the big rut, and the death rattle. The higher it is on the scale, it's the quicker and easier it is to scale. Right. We're going to start with phase number 1, the early struggle. The question is, the struggle for what? What are they struggling for when you start off? Well, anyone want to take a guess? What do you struggle for when you start?
Sales.
Sorry, sales?
Sales, customers, survival.
Sales, survival, yeah, 100%. It comes down to you are looking for a profitable, sustainable market, right? It doesn't help if it's not profitable. You could be working and make no money, right? It's sustainable. It doesn't help you start, you know, selling DVDs right now, you know, because someone has got a quick, you know, like it's got to be sustainable, not something that's busy going down, and there's got to be a market. The Walmart effect is if you have one client, you don't have a market. If you have one massive client, even if you're very profitable, you do not have a market. A market covers multiple clients, because if you know, have a Walmart, a Macro, or any of those really big ones, and that's your only client, if they replace you, your business goes down. It's not a market. So that is the very first thing. In early struggle, you struggle to find that. The other part of the struggle is this race against time for money, right? You have to replace the income. We get income and money for friends, from family, but it runs out. So your external, and that's where you have to find this profitable, sustainable market before the money runs out. Otherwise, you go into that funding loop and you have to go find funding that derails you, and then you start again. So very, very first is your early struggle, high mortality rate. 80% of the companies don't make it, right? Why? Because they also can't focus on finding a profitable, sustainable market. Sometimes the focus is all over the place. Attending this, setting up your website, setting up a lot of, but the single focus should be majority of your time on your market, finding that market before your money runs out. All right, that's the only strategy if you are there is to get out of it, right, without dying. That is the only reasonable strategy. Everything you start will always restart. So even if you've got a current business and you open another division, another area, another product, you always start there again. You find a market for that. You are again time you have to quickly get out of that. One of the best tips is if you are a founder or a business person, that you need a bit of that little anxiety to kick you into gear. It helps if you put your cash flow up on your screen every single day. And when you start in the morning, you realize like, oh gosh, if I don't get this done, I won't make it. Obviously, like use it in a positive way, but that helps. The second part is called fun. Once you've got your market, you want to mine your market, right? It is about sales, sales, sales. You are flexible, you are responsible, and they all say yes. And now, obviously, it's easy to grow because when you come out, you've got very little market share. And, every little extra client is like could double your revenue. So you see great growth. It is so exciting. And the key word on the previous one was finding cash. Now it's getting sales, top line growth. Why? Because there's just so much out there that you can mine and you can have a lot of fun there. Now, what happens as we say yes, you must figure out how to get it done. And, the reason you say yes is because you don't want to go back to where you came from. Like anything, just don't take me back here. You will reduce some of your rates. You will add it. They ask you for pink bottles from China, and you're like, yes, sure. And I ask, like, can you please, like put it in Mandarin? You're like, yeah, sure. Right? And like, how about you deliver it to, I don't know, somewhere without transport? Yeah, sure. And then you put the phone down and you're like, what the heck? Okay, let's figure this out. You actually deliver it. Very, very exciting time business. If you've got a team, there's beer, wine, you celebrate. There's no HR department. No one really cares how much you spend on your celebration. You're just so happy. If like some start just at McDonald's, like let's go for ice cream. Fridays, exhausted. You got the impossible done. You've built myths and legends. For a lot of the companies, that's let's go back there. They love this phase. And I'm sure all of you have worked or heard of places where it's been like that. It's just phenomenal, right? What this does, as this is very much part of the growth, it does set up some of the challenges that we can experience later, which is why it's important to understand them, right? We've got these big dogs that's rising. That means, the guys who's helping you at the expense of their families, at the expense of their kids. They're in it with them. They pay sweat equity, but that costs you a little bit later. You also have got when you need to make difficult decisions. Now you have to look back. Well, this was easy. Can I not come back to this because it was fun and we did such cool things? And it takes a lot of leadership to break out of that, right? And as you say yes, eventually it becomes more complex, and then one day suddenly it's just everything goes wrong. Like one more client and it's too complex. One more staff member, I can't manage all of them. One more service line, it's too much. And that then starts setting it up for some of our complex growth challenges that comes in the challenges to leadership in the business. Anyone been there? Anyone know what I talk about? You recognizing that? Great. That then brings us into white water. When we're in white water, it's obviously you've turned the heat up slowly 1 degree at a time, and you start juggling too many and you drop the ball. You start getting mistakes, you start getting errors. For the first time, you really struggle to deliver quality. And it used to be really a lot easier, and it's not fun anymore. All right. Your profitability starts going down, you lose control, you've got doubt, you've got loss of confidence, loss of alignment, and infighting. It just breeds quite a lot. And I'm going to take you later through some strategies and what we see. But the only way out of this is implementing formal processes and systems, and to simplify your business model so that you could move it forward. You codify things, you have to start saying no. And for leaders, that's really very difficult. If you're used to saying yes, now you have to say no. And you have to start finding out why and how do you make sure it works, and how do we repeat it. So this is where the repeatability comes in, where you want to formalize a lot more. Now, the difference between grow and scale is when we were in fun, we were growing, right? We were really growing the business. But now that we want to go past that hard part, you want to scale. It means you want to have a legacy organization. You want to go really large, really big. It's the easiest way to explain it is to say, if I have a high-rise building and I always just take the stairs. I take the stairs, because there's only 5 levels in my business. If now my business, I want to start getting to level 20, I can't just always take the stairs. I have to start building a lift. But as you build the lift, you still have to take the stairs to number 5 and build the lift so that you could use it to get to the top. But at the same time, you're not slowing down on going up and down on your stairs. You slow down current business, but and that's kind of the difference between scale and grow. Once you decide you need to scale, you're going to have to put time together to say, I'm building to scale this part while I continue all the others. There is a specific decision. One of the first growth decisions that a founder or leader makes is, do I really want to scale, or am I happy with just flexible lifestyle growth? And that's the difference between staying in that fun state I speak about. It is very profitable. It is a lovely lifestyle business. There's nothing wrong with that. Compared to if you're going to push through this white water to predictable success, it's going to be bureaucratic. It is going to be more corporate, and all of it that goes with. You're going to have a different team. Your structure will look different, etc. All right. So you can, in fun is when you grow, in predictable success is when you scale. So you go through the white water to transition through that. A lot of companies don't like the white water. They push it back to fun when they really want to try and get there. And then they start going into that little loop. Predictable success is about your ability to scale. It is controlled and flexible. You've got appropriate systems. You've lost some of the big dogs, the guys that helped you in fun, that gave all of them. They just don't like the structure. They like saying yes. They like figuring it all out. And majority of the time, in my experience, they end up leaving, which is very hard to process and deal with. All right, this is when you stop working in the business, you start working on the business, and you're going to need visionaries in different pockets. I'm going to speak about the visionary profiles just now. After this, we go into treadmill, because adding processes really helps. So then when there's another business process challenge or growth challenge, you know what? Let's do what we did last time. We added processes. Now we add more processes. You end up over process, which really, innovation and creativity goes down quite a lot. When you are in predictable success, you could be moving in and out to treadmill, into white water. That's very normal. And after that, we get the big rut. And the big rut, it's a very slow, it's like to decline. You've got a large balance sheet, and you don't need to care about the customer because there's enough money to go through that. There's a lot of large corporations out there they can spend generations in this big rut, and it's all about this compliance and ticking the box, and the customer does not matter. And I'm sure you all can think of a number of very large organizations like that. The problem is, remember what we said, that was a green one, but in fact it's red, because the problem is that they lose the ability to self-diagnose. So they can't get themselves out of that section. And then at the end, you have a death rattle, and that's in when businesses, they sell off pieces and all of that. And on a high level, that is the 7 stages that we get. If you have a quick look, where do you think your business is? And if your business is not quite going yet, choose a business that you know or that you're very familiar with. Where do you think that you would position that? I'm going to give you a minute to quickly have a look. If you want to put in the chat where you think your current business is, then that would be helpful. Okay. All right. Everyone happy? I can move on. Okay. Now, from what we see, there's only 2 places you want to be in. You want to either be in fun or you want to be in predictable success. You do not want to be in any of the other stages. When you're on fun, the focus is on mining that market. You want a lot of freedom, you want a lot of autonomy, and really the focus is on sales and whatever the customer needs. And you want to encourage your team to say yes to as many things as possible. When you are in predictable success, you can grow to whatever size your market is, and you've got the foundational system and processes, and you start managing it in a very different way. All right. So early struggle, find your profitable, sustainable market. In fun, you want to sell and get part of that low-hanging fruit for your market. When you're in whitewater, you're going to implement systems and processes. In treadmill, you want to rein in systems and processes. And once you hit the big rut, you're going to have to add divisions and areas so that you can start again and bring innovation back. Let me talk to you about some of these symptoms. There's different mindsets and how do we move out, and leadership styles. And the most important thing is who gets you there, because a lot of the issues when we talk about growth and scale, it comes up or shows in the way that people around you behave. Now, we've got 4 leadership styles that plays a role in this. We've got the visionary, the operator, the synergist, and the processor. The easiest way to explain them is, let's say the job is I need to move a printer. When I ask my operator, please move the printer, the operator is going to kick it, realize, oh gosh, hold on, there's a plug. You'll unplug it, move it, plug it back in, Bob's your uncle, 3 minutes later, it is working. When I ask the same job of the processor, they're going to say, hold on, where's the manual? They're going to find the manual. They're going to double check if there's any policy to that. Then they are going to form a committee. They are going to set agenda, and they're going to have a date. And at the exact date, in line with all the health and safety guidelines, it will be moved, and there'll be a lovely communication that goes out to the entire team that says it has now been moved. That's your processor. Then you get your visionary. When you ask your visionary, please, can you move the printer? They're going to like, what? I still have a printer? Seriously, guys, we are on 3D printing. Why do we not have a 3D printer? And actually, just come with me. I've got a meeting with the rep for lunch just now. Come, let's go. Why are you so slow? What? Your visionary would do that. Your synergist is a learned style that helps bring the conflict of all the others together. Now, these 3 play a very interesting role as we look at the life cycle of a business. And let's start with early struggle. Who starts a company? All right, why do they start? It's typically a high-performing individual in a paid environment. They will stop working for 40 hours so that they can work for themselves for 60 hours for less money. That's typically who starts the businesses. It's not about the money for them. It's just not. They have a vision and they want to make things happen. Right? They are starters, they are driven, they are risk takers. They are great communicators usually, but not always. They attract people and they've got a charisma and they like to ask why. They have a deep need for freedom and autonomy to do things their own way. Now, why this is interesting to remember is when we get to scale at the top, it's that exact same thing in the visionary that's going to be challenged. And as a leader, where they're going to have to decide, and you know how many companies the leader ends up leaving when it becomes great, right? Because they've just ended up for another, working 40 hours for their shareholders who's their boss, and that's what they do not want. So this personality style plays a big role when we talk about growth and scale. Then they are so resilient, and because they're resilient, they keep going, and that's why the company makes it. They try something until it works. The issue is that they struggle to focus. Now, remember what we said at the beginning, trying to get out of this early, it is about the focus. Now we've got a visionary who struggles to focus, and they want the latest and the newest, but they got to step back to actually find a profitable, sustainable market. And that makes it very challenging for some entrepreneurs juggling that. And they really do get challenged, and that's why it helps for them to team up. All right, your visionary, they're going to start a business and they can start another one and another one and another one. They might have 4, 5, 6 businesses going. They've got 6 websites. Because they love starting stuff, and they're going to start something, like they don't care about finishing it, like just start another thing. They get very impatient. They do not like the details. All right. So because they know they need the ruthless focus to find it, sweating the detail is not their strong suit. Getting out of there, they need a partner that is called the operator. Someone, if they start, someone's going to finish, that they can work together. You find that the companies that don't partner with a strong operator where there's two together, they really struggle to get out of the early struggle. They end up being serial entrepreneurs, starting this one and starting that one. So your operator, it's quite difficult to find operators, especially for some reason in our market, in our country. There's a shortage of operator styles. There's a lot of processes. There's a lot of visionaries. Finding an operator is hard. They are ruthless task finishers. They want to get the stuff done. Where your visionary wanted freedom and autonomy, these guys want autonomy and direction. So they need someone like, get that done, and they will get that done. They high action, they literal, they are short term. And when you pair that up, that is the great team that will take them up. Now they create a very strong emotional bond, which now when I said later, if you grow your business into a real massive, often it's this bond that's going to get challenged and triggered. And it's very often this operator that started with you at the beginning that ends up leaving. All right. They build up sweat equity. They may not be owners. They may not, but they're real close, right? This is the people you build your myths and legends. And this is how you get out of early struggle. Sometimes some visionaries can do it all, right? And they can do this, and they can be the operator, and it's called the artisan trap. Number one, they're going to get exhausted and burnt out, but they live out of mastering your own craft. They don't make a lot of money. They really struggle because, like if I make a guitar, right? If I'm the best guitar maker single and only I make it, right? I have to spend 3 months making it, and then I can spend 2 months selling it. But in the 3 months I make it, I can't make it because now I'm working. Then I can't sell. That artisan trap. A lot of visionaries, especially if you are if you can get a lot of things done, you've got high capacity, often get stuck in this trap. And then they don't want to take on another operator, but difference that other operator makes is enormous in getting you into fun where you can focus and sell. Lovely revenue growth if you hit the right market, if you've got your product prices right, if you get it out and you can say yes, that's such a fun time to then be. And it's obviously such, right? But it's really about sales. You've got your visionary has got, the vision, let's go try this, he gets it done, your operator gets it done. It's very important to remember you can only have one visionary. It starts becoming challenging in the fun stage if you add and you team up with too many other entrepreneurs, the vision starts getting disrupted and the operators get confused. And then they'll actually pull you back into the early struggle, right? The operators, the org structure, if you are in this, is very different to what you would traditionally think. You would not have the hierarchy. You want to have this, we call it the sun and the moon org structure. And you've got the visionary surrounded by all of these operators, and you give them direction and then you leave them. In fact, don't watch, don't look, because they're going to get it done in whatever way works for them, right? As long as they don't break the rules, and that's okay. That is how you get that explosive growth. One strong leader, and you've got, it's not really a leadership team. There's one person giving leader. There's senior staff. There's sometimes messengers. What makes it difficult when we grow to the further stage is that a lot of these operators are not the right people when I want to scale and go big. They expect to all become board members, but they really just don't have that profile and doesn't suit that phase of business growth. And then that's going to bring a lot of conflict. All right, in Whitewater, remember we said yes, 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 and then eventually we said yes, and it's too complex. There's too many moving parts, too many complaints. That's when there's a lot of between the visionary and the operator, a lot of wheel spinning, overwhelm, exhaustion, mistakes, and they're just not getting it done fast enough anymore. They realize that they need some systems and processes. But now what we know about these two is they're not going to follow their own systems and processes. They might do it as soon as someone's voice message or text, they will stop and just actually get it done, fix it, make it happen in whatever way. And they default back to their own strength. They need a process. And now you find that often companies start looking for a COO or HR and IT and all of that. They are looking for someone that's precise, consistent, patient, risk adverse, structured, somebody who can put processes in place. What then happens is, oh, but didn't we have processes in place? Well, of course you did. What's very important is also when you're in that fun stages, remember to rather outsource your processes, don't employ them. And I'm going to take you through that later, because when you employ those processes, they're going to push you into Whitewater way too fast. And, like we first need to mine the market as much as you can. It's advisable when you're in fund that even if you do have some, don't make them part of the senior management team, right? You use your outsourced accountants, your outsource as much as you can, stay flexible, right? But now I moved into this Whitewater, I need a processor. Now what happens is my processor comes, I've got my tick list, I have my first 90 days, what I'm going to exactly do, I'm going to change this organization. They told me they need to formalize things and they are ready. They walk in, your visionary is like, oh, you made it. Come with me. You know what? I've got problems with the auditors. They are giving us a lot of problems because we are just issuing cash without signing notes. And, you need to stop that. Please solve that. I've got to get the audit, and they dump all of these things. And then, the processor is now late on their schedule and what they thought they're going to do. And they're ready. And they're like, can I leave this with you to sort it out? And the processor says, yes, 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 sure. And he wants to go. And then the visionary would say, before you go, just give me like 500 Rand cash. I need to go get gold. They don't, because the processes that the visionary expects the processor to put in place, those rules does not apply to the visionary, right? I'm the boss. It applies to everyone else. Do not make me fill in this paperwork. That starts quite a conflicting, between this person that's supposed to help them and the visionary that wants to grow the business. The operator by now would have been overwhelmed. There's been so much work, so much client complaints. He's really just trying to solve it. And he's happy because this process is a buddy that's going to solve it for him. Turns out this buddy that's going to solve it for him doesn't solve it. He just gives you extra tick lists and checklists. And now there's a problem. Now I have to sit and talk about it. This buddy is not helping. So when they start off working really closely together very soon, I've got a massive risk happening, and the operator is saying, just leave me. There's a problem. I need to get it fixed. And I'm not going to write a report on what I fixed and how I fixed. And the processor, is frustrated. Now, this obviously becomes a breeding ground to, on top of delivery complexity and complaints and quality concerns. Now you've got, we call it the dark night of the soul of a company as part of growing, right? You've got this vision, values and culture clash, and where you had slow delivery, it is now slower. You will hear things, we're losing our way. We don't even know who we are anymore. Back in the days, we did this in Mandarin. Now we can't even get it in English out. That's how worse we are, right? It's slowed down. There are focuses away from the customers. There's scars, there's memories, lots of battles happening. But this is why it's white water. You have to push through. A lot of companies struggle to push through, right? And remember, we have that strong bond between the visionary and the operator. The operator says, like, you've made it worse. I can't. And now I fill in tick lists and meetings and like, I can't do this. Remember, we did this. We know what to do. We've got it. Let's do that again. Visionary will often, if it's their first rodeo, say, you're right. I think this is the wrong guy, right? And they blame the processor, they replace the processor, and you start getting a bit of a up and down. All right. I've already said that. Then, now you get these painful circles, and that's why it's called white water. A lot of companies go in and out, in and out. They can't seem to, what's going on. It's not the culture because we're cool. It must be these other people. And the only way you're going to get out of that is embracing this personality, the processor. And often your visionary needs a lot of coaching through this stage to be able to handle that conflict. And your operator, 80% of them unfortunately leave. They can't do this anymore. And they go back to a company that's in early struggle, but it's so hard to get through this. And that's the pain of growth. As a founder, as an owner, you can decide when you hit white water, you will know when you're in that dark night of the soul to say, hold on a second, pull it back. Make the business slightly smaller, simplify it, too much complexity, so that you can strategically push it back into fun instead of pushing it out. Often you've employed too many processes. Often you've given them too much power, and then they pull it through to become too complex. You may need to restructure some of that. You only have enough process that's going to keep you out of jail and keep you, keep things. Anything more than that is too much. It is going to push you into the white water. If you decide, listen, I want to dominate the market, I want to take countries, then you know what's coming next. You know that you're going to have to stable, you're going to walk through the chaos, you're going to stabilize the chaos, and you will have to restructure quite significantly. The org structure looks different. If I'm in fun, I've got the sun and the moon, I've got mainly operators, I'm going to outsource my processes as much as possible. And that's why you find also a lot of the outsourced accounting, outsourced HR, outsourced. Their main target market for this reason is the smaller companies, right? Because that is just where they fit best. Anything more serious, you're going to have in-house. You're going to have, now, if you are going to scale large, what's the first thing you can do? Where the process falls flat, there you appoint a processor in a senior leadership position. You start making them part of your board. You give them a voice as hard as that conflict is. All right, you work out how you manage that conflict. All right, that org structure is different. And like I said, now we're going to do more of that when we, when we grow further, and the processor becomes quite powerful in the organization, and it becomes about compliance and not anything else. But now what happens? Remember, the visionary likes the freedom and the autonomy, and they don't like that. Now they've got too many rules, and the visionary is not coping. Often here you will see where the visionary becomes the chairman of a board, or they move, or they get moved to open another area, another division, because they if they don't have that, they will quit and they will go start a new business. And you find a lot of those, that moving of the visionaries happening there. If the company decides to listen to the visionary and he's got a lot of influence and some positions right, that visionary has got the power to move them back to predictable success. But it doesn't often happen like that. Often the visionary starts separating out, and it's really the process and the operator that runs it. And the plans are perfect. It's beautiful plans, beautiful compliance checklist. All right. And it's at this place where some of those smaller companies and funds pick up the market because, like they don't get to care about the customers. And your fund would care, and what they'll give it to you in Mandarin, the others are going to say, oh, not a chance. Compliance won't allow me. The operators start struggling when you get to the big rat because they can't get stuff done. They need a visionary. The operator end up leaving. All right. And usually by the time it comes to death rattle, it's only compliance people left. It's only HR, it's only IT left. That's when they close down. All right. That brings us to this complex that we call them the unstable trio when we talk about growth or scale. The only way that they don't collapse the company because of the conflict is if they move to the mindset that says, I need to do what's in the best interest for the company. I have to do these checklists. It's in the best interest of the company. Your process of I have to minimize my checklist because they must all get to work. If there's that understanding, then companies can transition and scale and grow better. And this is where you get a lot of that culture work. Now, it takes 3 years for a company without any intervention to stabilize and get to this point. So you often find at least 3 years of this complex infighting and that's if they end up finding the path. And let me just pause here. Is there any questions, any observations before I jump onto the next section? Anybody? No? Does it sound familiar? Can you relate in your business experiences to some of the things? Yeah? Okay, great. Your synergist, that's a mindset. It takes coaching and often personal development for executives and leaders to get there. They're enterprise focused, they're people focused, they encourage, they harmonize, they worry about the long term. Great EQs, we have teams going on EQ training, team players, all of that. And when you've got all of that together, that is how you end up scaling a highly successful business to the top. I'm not going to take you through the quizzes. On my website, you will find the assessment. That's a free assessment, 32 multi-choice questions, but it's quick in 5 minutes. It'll tell you your combination. Are you a visionary or an operator and a processor? And you can also get your teams to do that. And I do team assessments for some companies. I also do coaching for visionaries, operators. How do you enhance your own style? How do you help those around you? All right. Spoken about that. Now let's talk about strategies on how you can ride out these growth waves. Now, if we look at our life cycle, on the left side, we've got growth. On the right side, you've got decline. And based on where the company is, we're going to have different strategies. For a company that's sitting more on the left, if you're in the early struggle in the fund, I categorize that as you've got to just catch that growth wave. There's a certain way in which they operate. We spoke a little bit about org structure and all of that, and what they focus on in order to grow bigger. You get the guys that's in the white water. Their main issue is complexity. The strategies that they've got have got to do with conquering all of that complexity. And then you find the companies that are sitting in treadmill, they're obviously the large balance sheets, they've been going for very long, and then treadmill, high compliance. They need strategies that's going to explode and reduce their bureaucracy. Each of these are different. And I have got accelerators and workshops and sessions for each one of these strategies. And like I said, this is just the intro to all of those sessions. If you look at the growth wave, I've broken it up into 3 little. You've got to spot it, you must find your market, then you must catch it, and you must ride it. And as strategic vocabulary that resonates very well with that type of team and the fun team that you need to try and keep going and motivate to stay fun and flexible and resilient. When we get to the strategy for conquering complexity, we need to dig in very deep into vision work, build the structure, because now we need to transition the org structure from the sun and the moon flexible, make sure you've got the processes positioned right, and that you've got your balance and all of that, and that everyone knows what to do, how to do it, and that they can work together as a team. And there's lots of leadership development work in order to sort that out, and a lot of process work. When we get to the explode bureaucracy strategy, now obviously there's a different strategy, because you can't just start a vision from scratch. If you were a large insurance company, you're not going to not be that anymore. You need to find a way to renew it. And there's different workshops and strategies where we can go and find the treasures and the gold of how they used to it, modernize that and bring that and reuse that. So we won't just, change the vision. It's a mining exercise that we do to find that. We then reinvent that structure and we get focused back on the people, because we know some of the roles that start leaving, and you've got to get that back. Most of them usually would have left. So there's a lot of focus on HR, on recruitment, getting the right people back so that they don't just employ more processes, which often is then what happens. Okay, taking these. So once you understand where you are, there's so much out there. It's very important to stick to the focus. If you've decided that your business is a lifestyle fun business, don't go attend workshops for how to structure your team. Don't go and have too many workshops of how to benchmark, optimize your process to what the guys in Iceland is doing. Or, you want to be flexible, resilient, say yes, have fun, spend the time on flexible, fun, resilient. Yes, you can do it. Cultivate that. But that's if you are your focus if you are more scaling, your focus is going to be corporate. It's going to be a lot of the formal. Don't mix that. You give, as leaders, we give the team mixed messages in terms of growth, and then they misposition it. Block out all of the background noise. Just stay focused on your own journey. We take these three further. If you only catch the growth wave, the first thing is make sure you have a profitable, sustainable market, right? Then once you've got that, spend time on your avatar, right? Who's your buyer? Understand your buyer. Get in there. Know who they are. How do you talk to them? Where do you find them? Get your funnel right. You want to focus a lot of effort and energy on that. Find the wave, ride it. What do they want? Let's give it to them. Next one, next one. It's like aim and shoot, aim and shoot, aim and shoot. You find that there's, especially now, a lot of tools that support that. Your CRM tools that is optimized and formalized. If you're in there, you should focus on getting a solid CRM that you can manage well. You want to know how many meetings, all of those things. I am also a Monday.com partner. Monday.com is one of the best CRM tools to do that. I can give you a link after the session, or Sam can put it in the website. If you use that link with Monday, it will link you to me. So if you get to a point where you need help, I can ask and contact Monday.com to add me as a free user onto your package, right? So that I can help and guide you and optimize your system. Otherwise, adding me as anyone who helps, you will have to pay for another user if you have a consultant. That link is valid for 3 months if you use that specific link. Any other link will not link you to me. Conquer complexity. We want to now go into process details. Get your vision, get your structure, get your leadership right. This is where you are going to go and do process training. You want to make sure you understand lean, you understand bottlenecks, you understand end to end. You will definitely get formal standard operating procedures out. The best way to do that today, in the old day, we had all of these forms. You can still modernize it by doing Loom, right? Make sure that it's there. You're going to get your accounting very formalized. Lots of leadership. That session that I have, that's the accelerator course, that takes a owner or visionary through this conquer complexity, everything that you need to know in order to get a customized process growth map. For 4 months, we do mentoring every single Monday. And then after that, walk away with being able to craft your plan that considers your company in the competitive edge. But you're going to do process work, structure work, people work. If you are on the other side, you are going to renew the vision. You're going to do a lot of HR, mentoring, training, bringing that innovation culture back. So I bring a lot more fun and all of that, refocus the people, minimize, like change is great. And you bring a lot of you see right now, there's a lot of these coaches that does the people work, right? That's where you bring them in. They are very powerful in working with the minds and of the people. And that's the 3 strategies that you have. Got more breakdown for your growth wave, for your profitable, sustainable market. You want to define it. You identify any activities that does not fit in with your market, because you sometimes just have to do everything when you start a business, even if it's not in your market. You start eradicating them one at a time, not all at the same time, just one, and then the next one, and then the next one. So you phase them out, you replace them, you phase them out, and you replace them. Once you've replaced all of them and they're only the guys that's in your market, you've achieved the tick for this item. You zoom in on your avatar. You want to know who they are. Where are they on the life cycle? How will they find you? If you are an accounting firm, you would now know your target market are in the fun people, right? What do we now know about them? It's the 2-man, the operator, how do I market to them? Not to the processors. I market to them. All right? Focus on their challenges, what's going to cause them to lose their business, where they pain points, understand their decision-making criteria, and then you start playing around with your marketing messages to get that, and you get your funnel right. You make sure you know who's in your team, make very sure you don't have processes at full time, and make sure you've got guardrails to make sure you don't over-formalize things, to stay fun and flexible. Okay, any questions on this one? No? Okay, conquer complexity. Once we are here, you are going to change the vision. Remember, it was like, get it done now. We're like, no, let's do it right. So you have to slow it down. You have to embrace some of those conflicts. You change your rewards and your consequences formally, because you will have to get new people and get rid of people, right? You get that. You make sure the operators and the guys who've been in the long journey with you, care for them, look after them, help them move, right? Because they're going through the hardest time, and majority of them are not going to make the transition, right? So we help them, make sure that the visionaries get some coaching to deal with the change and learn a lot of trust work. How do we do trusted teams, trust type of workshops? Once you've got that right, we want to get to a point where we can do it again, repeatable. Step number 1 is org chart. First, fix the org chart, make sure the right people are on the right level. We move them. Then when they're on the right level, we make sure that you've got a leadership team who can work together. After that, we make sure that you've got a single source of truth, because it's too complex. You can't just make decisions on the lift or on the car on the way. You now have to find dashboards. You have to have a process. Who makes which decisions, so that you do the right thing, and then you get a lovely balance between implement and enforcement, not just so it's very deep. Get your hands dirty into business process work. It does take, it's not a 2-month job, and that's why we plan this very carefully on the sequence in which we do that. There's 13 modalities that sit under these. Each of those 13 have got different tools, different methods, that's different for every single business. And then craft that strategy with the business owners. Then you develop your leadership. There's a 4I concept which says, make sure that who's on your level 1 is the right, that your level 2s are right, your level 3s are right. You have the right people on your board, not just because they've been there for 20 years. And then we start working on different things that make sure each layer is at the right area. Once we've got all of that right and the right layer, then it's a lot easier to step out of the business and work on it, because you've got the right people at the right place, making the right decisions and doing the right job. Because the size of a business becomes quite large, it gets quite complex. Lastly, last strategy, we do bureaucracy, we renew it. So we're going to normalize our success, do differences, do a lot of work on where we came from, understand it. Then we are going to look at, remember, they've got too many processes. Get rid of bottlenecks, get rid of redundancy. What belongs to nobody? What has got 2 people? Where is the compliance too heavy? Do we really need that? And then we're going to look at hiring, because we will have to hire in new people to bring the innovation back, zoom in on performance assessment. And that's what I have for you. In terms of strategy, next step, you can get the free assessment on my website, starblaze-solutions.com. If you don't have a CRM system to facilitate your sales process, I can recommend monday.com. Please use that link that I've sent so that I can help you a bit better later when you grow. I've got the customized growth plan for anyone that's in the middle section. That's online. How we're going to help you to this for your business. That's starting in February. I can also send you a free PDF of these growth strategies we spoke about in the last slide. If you can please just publish something on LinkedIn, what you've learned, tag me, and then I will send you the PDF. And that's me. Any questions?
That was awesome. Thank you, Estelle. I also it was so much information. So I'm still processing, but I really found that for me that middle section is where I'm sitting, the in between the whitewater and the predictable success, where like you say, you have to simplify, but you still need the processes, because I think we're sitting with too much complexity. But I love the way you broke down each phase and the steps for each phase. And I think my question for that one is, how do you recommend people go about identifying that market that they need? What is the best way? Because I think that's probably one of the hardest things, and particularly for people who are just starting out, and they're in that early struggle, is how do I know who to sort of focus my sights on for this, because it's, once you've done that, then you create the avatar and you can create the messaging, but how do you know how to focus your sights on that person?
The easiest way is to remember that you're going to get it wrong 9 out of 10 times. Number 10 is going to be right. So you want to make sure you've got small sprints, like fail fast, get it wrong quickly so that you can know it. Don't wait for it to be perfect. Make your offering must be perfect. Your website must be perfect. Like throw stuff at the wall, see what sticks. is the thing, right? And like when you're small, you're going to throw things at the wall, it's going to fall off. You're so small, no one's going to notice, right? But like we don't like doing that. It's messy. It's the quickest and only way to get through it. Just throw stuff at it, right? Like throw on your LinkedIn, either everyone likes it and you get 20 likes or you get no likes. If you get no likes, don't do that again. Find something else, right? Change, change, change. Every week you do something different. All right. It helps if you go in 6-week sprints. And if you define 6 problems that your market has, right? 6 solutions you can have to that. And week 1, you try number 1, week 2, number 3, 4, 5, 6, and you repeat, right? Because it does get a bit funny if you like throw the same thing and it doesn't stick. And, people do end up noticing like this is not. Then at least you throw the same thing every 6 weeks, right? So you throw it, doesn't work, like just leave it there, we'll analyze it later. Number 2, number 3, and after 6 weeks, you do a bit of an assessment. Okay, hold on. When 6 weeks ago, when I threw that stuck, that not, like I got no responses out of 6. This one got 1 response. Okay, now you take that 1 and you amplify 6 more of those, and then you go for that. But you've got to move fast. It's a race against time.
That's awesome. Thank you. That's very good advice.
Any other questions? Yeah.
Leila, do you have any? You normally have good questions.
That was actually a very good question, because I was thinking to myself, it's especially when you're in the early stage and like I am. I mean, my business is only not even 2 years old yet, and it's a case of putting yourself out there, and like Estelle says, we don't want to put ourselves out there and just get misses continuously, but if you're going to throw everything out and just see what's going to stick and then take it from there. So that's going to be my plan from next week.
And just get going, right? Like make it fun. It's not that serious yet, right? Just, like reward yourself with the coffee. I got that right. I got it wrong. Like, let's have coffee. Like in normal life, because remember, 80% of what you do is going to fail. 80%, right? Expect that. And that's a good sign. It means like you've 1 leg down, right? But go fast. You've got to move fast.
I suppose my question would be, if you're looking to simplify your processes, where do you start? How do you recommend you start the process? Because I mean, obviously you can't take us through your entire coaching thing in the next 15 minutes, but how do you recommend you start looking at things and going, okay, this is my business and this is how it runs right now. Where would I start in terms of going, this is what I want to simplify first, or this is what I want to put structure in place for first?
Whenever you touch anything process, you have to consider end to end, right? Now, sometimes you would delve into a little section that feels too difficult, and we would change that. It's often a mistake. You're going to move things or remove it. That's really important, either at the beginning or at the end, and then you lose. Your clients might need you to do this. You hate it. Everyone hates it. We're going to call it admin. So let's get rid of all the admin. It's not getting rid of admin. It's about understanding your end to end. You write your business, like use 9 blocks. In 9 blocks, document your business. You can only use 9 blocks. From the start to the end, that's going to give you what your high level top 9 processes are. If you can't get it into 9, like between 6 and 11, if you've got more than 9 blocks, you've overcomplicated it. Make your block simpler. Once you have that, you look at, what would my customer pay for? Why am I there? And you list the 3 things. They pay me to do, 1, 2, 3. They pay me to produce reports. So yes, I have to do the admin. They pay me to have high quality work. So yes, I have to review the work, right? You work out what they pay you to do. Then you go look at your current process and you're like, what do I have in there that does not fit this? Right? What have I put in place because it's going to make it easier for me to manage? Right? Now you put those on the red block to say, I may have to look at these. Some of them may be appropriate. Some of them may be overkill. Right? And now you have to assess with your team. Like, is this really necessary? Because sometimes we are so worried that we're going to make mistakes that we add an extra and in case, and you've got 60 many of those. But that's then where you start simplifying. And the biggest thing is to make sure you keep your end-to-end thread together. And that's usually, and if you just ask your team, usually like, listen, guys, what is overkill? I mean, they're going to give you a long list for sure. And they'll start with admin, but you can't just eradicate all admin.
Thank you. That's very helpful. Are there any other questions for Estelle? Everybody happy? Nothing more. Estelle, I found that extremely helpful. Thank you. It's a really, really good overview of a company cycle and what to look out for at each phase. And I think it will really help all of us plan for next year. If you want to reach out to Estelle, as she said, she's available on LinkedIn. I did pop her LinkedIn. Let me just see where it is. There we go. Right at the beginning, I popped it in, but let me do it again. Here is the link to her LinkedIn page. So do go and connect with her and start a chat on LinkedIn and grab the free PDF by tagging her and about today's chat. And obviously grab those free resources because they will make a big difference in your business as well. And they're free. So why not? I will include them with today's recording. And then you'll also with some contact details for Estelle. So if you have questions that come to you after this session, then you can get hold of her in your own time. But yeah, if there's no more questions, Estelle, if you don't have any more comments, then I'm going to let us all go and start working on our businesses so we can catch growth next year.
Thank you so much. Good luck to everyone with all of your businesses.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.